Today I'm going to be making cherry cordial cookies. This is from the Pampered chef. This is called Spring Summer 2001 Season's Best. And just because it's from spring summer, you notice I'm making it in the dead of winter because I think they sound good, and I don't think they sound like they would be like spring summer cookies to me. Cherries, I usually make stuff with cherries in the winter too. So I'm going to give you all your ingredients. You're going to need 2 sticks of butter, and we're going to divide it. We are going to use 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 package 9 ounces of golden yellow cake mix. So if you get the Jiffy, this is a golden yellow and it's 9 ounces because most of the other cake mixes are a lot bigger than that. You need a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract, 20 maraschino cherries drained and patted dry, so we'll be doing that. You need 4 squares of semi-sweet chocolate. I bought the Baker's. And then you need a 1/2 cup of finely chopped almonds. So the first thing I'm going to do is you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then we're going to melt 1 stick of the butter completely. So I don't know why the directions have you do it this way, but they have you melt 1 stick of butter. Then with the other stick, they want you to slice it into slices, and then they want you to add all of this into what's melted. And now they want you to let this sit for 2 to 3 minutes. So now it's been like 3 minutes. You want to take, it says a wire whisk, and you want to just break up your butter. Now, I don't understand why they didn't just have you melt all the butter at one time.
My theory is they want you to cool off your butter. Let it set for a little bit. That's my theory, at least. Because that definitely looks different than it would have if you'd melted it.
It does. It's definitely thicker, because normally melted butter, you can see through it. This is thick to where you cannot see through it. I've just never used this method. So there's a little chunky pieces, but for the most part it's melted. Okay, so now we're going to add our almond extract to that. That's a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. And I measured my flour out in my KitchenAid, in my mixer. So this is my flour. It's 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You're going to take your Jiffy mix, your yellow mix, and add that to the flour. And then to this, you're going to add that almond extract and butter mixture. And then we're going to mix it together. It looks like a dough, and so I'm going to use a cookie scoop. I have a big cookie scoop. I have a smaller one and a larger one. This is the larger one. And I have a piece of parchment paper on a cookie sheet here. And so you want to put this on your cookie sheet, but then you want to flatten it down a little bit. And then what we did was we took our cherries and we halved them and we patted them dry. And you want to put one of your cherries in the center of each cookie. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to let these bake for 15 to 17 minutes, And then when they come out, I'll show you, and I'll show you what they look like, and I'll let you know how long I left them in for. I let the cookies bake for 17 minutes, so at 15 minutes, they still seemed really soft. So I just set my timer for an additional 2 minutes, left them in for the whole 17 minutes. So now you want to let these cool completely before we move on to the next step. So our cookies have cooled, and I'm going to open up the chocolate, and we're going to use 4 squares. So you need just a small bowl, and we're going to heat this up in the microwave. So 4 squares,
Yeah,
just that right there?
You need more than that.
You think?
Probably 8 squares.
Okay, I'm going to do half. And if we have some left, it's okay. So, how long do you want to microwave this, Kevin?
I usually do, when I'm microwaving chocolate, I usually do 45 seconds and then stir it really good and then just 15-second increments after that.
And also, I'm going to take the cookies and I'm going to move them over to the rack. And then I'm going to put this piece of parchment paper underneath to catch all the chocolate. Because what we're going to end up doing is drizzling the chocolate over the top. So I'm just going to move my parchment paper underneath.
Or you can pick that and put it on top of the...
Or I could put it like that. Hey! I knew I married you for a reason.
Yeah,
okay, so we'll do it.
That's the only thing I got going
We'll do it like that. So I scooted my cookies in tight together because now we're going to just drizzle our chocolate over the top. And as you drizzle, you also, your almonds, you're probably wondering, where do those almonds go? Well, they tell you to just sprinkle the almonds over the top like this. So I'm hoping they'll stick in that chocolate. The recipe really doesn't say much else. Because this is a Pampered Chef recipe book, they're really promoting using Pampered Chef items.
Don't put stuff in a bowl. Put it in this particular bowl.
Yeah, it has to be this particular bowl with this particular whisk and this, you know. And so I think it's fun, though, to show you that if you come across these magazines, just because, or this book, just because it says Pampered Chef, you can use your own stuff. You don't have to have any special bowl at all, and you could still enjoy the recipe. But let's see. Okay.
I want this.
Let's see. I want this one. I want one with less chocolate. I'm truly worried. I was worried about putting too much chocolate because I want to taste that cherry. I want to taste the almond, and I don't want that semi-sweet chocolate to be overpowering, huh?
No problem with the amount I got.
Okay.
It's a crumbly cookie, but it's very buttery, almost like a crumbly shortbread kind of flavor.
Yeah, the texture of it would remind you of a shortbread, but it's thicker. So shortbread would be probably twice as thin as this.
Half as thin.
Or half as thin, I mean. Half as thin as this. But yeah, it is very crumbly in there.
And it reminds you of that butter, that really strong butter flavor really comes through. That's a good cookie, though. I do have to say, it's really good. You can make these thinner, too. You could have really pressed them down thinner and made them a thinner cookie.
I could have. The only thing about this recipe book, I like pictures because I like to see, did mine turn out like theirs? And so, like I said,
It also gives you an idea of how thick to make them and how big they should be.
And now mine, I can tell you right now, you're supposed to get like 4 dozen.
4 dozen.
Yeah.
They would be
They would be teeny tiny cookies. So mine are much bigger, but to me, this is a good size cookie.
Did you take a bite of that cherry?
I want the cherry in the middle.
The cherry where it's been in the oven, it's softer. It's like a really soft, almost mushy kind of texture. It's really good.
I'll tell you what, You need a glass of milk.
They're kind of, I won't say they're pasty, but they're very thick.
They're thick.
Kind of
It's just thick. But you do taste, I do like the cherry. You do taste that almond extract that you used. And the good thing about the little almond slivers on top is it adds just a little bit of texture.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't use very many. You were probably supposed to use a lot more than what I did.
I think yours looks nice.
I wanted it on there for like a little garnish, just to make it pretty.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good recipe.
It is, and the chocolate, I got more chocolate than you did, and I didn't notice it being, I didn't really taste the chocolate, honestly. You probably could have left the chocolate off completely, and it not have changed the flavor. But it wouldn't have looked as pretty.
Exactly. The chocolate, if you make these, I would do the chocolate like I did, unless you really want to taste that semi-sweet chocolate. Because I do think it's just supposed to make it pretty.
Yeah, the chocolate against that white cookie is really
like
nice.
when Crumble Cookie puts one little thing on top of the cookie, it's just to add a little bit of flair to it. That's what you're doing with these, is you're just adding a little bit of prettiness to it. But I do think it's a successful recipe.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
And I do think the way they told you to do the butter, it ended up working great.
Yeah, it did. I don't know if it made a difference, but it did work fine.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.